Are there any questions you guys have that I didn't address in the discussions? The new friends, areas of interest, really right away, whether it's academic interests as children get older, someone that's loving puzzles for the little guys, loving numbers for the little guys, really also where the teachers are saying, you know what, your child's really super smart. This other little boy also has really high interest and very bright. I'm going to pair and group your child. I will say that worked for my Sophie. My Sophie is still super smart. The teachers found these kids that were, because she was bored in kindergarten and preschool, and we found kids that she had interest with, and still to this day, 30 years old, she's still friends with them. Mm-hmm. Somehow that bond. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I remember the teacher going, even when she was in middle school, like she always bonded with the kids, and it was always like the science kids. Mm-hmm. So she on her own was able to find that, because that's what gave your child, just like you. When you find parents with similar interests, mm-hmm. here at camp, it's your kids with selective mutism and your ages. But it's really about finding kids with interest that, and as children get older, we can't set up get-togethers and play dates, and it's not happening as much post-COVID. But the teachers have to find kids with similar interests to pair and group your children with, and ideally, those are the kids you focus on get-togethers with. That's what it is. And then using those same 3 to 5 kids you pair with, group with, and sit with, and those are the children your child becomes the most comfortable with. So if you're doing pull-outs, those are the kids you're doing friendshipy groups with. Now, it may not always be, and you don't ever want it to be one child. You need at least 3 to 5 kids they're pairing and grouping with. Now, in the younger years, it's 2 to 3, 3 to 4, because if that one child is absent, your child's going to freak out. And it's also not fair to always have that same child. So the teacher naturally makes this happen without putting too much pressure on other children.
If I can speak to that because with Lachlan, he had one speaking friend. So we just put it all on Lachlan. And when Lachlan wasn't there, he didn't want to go to school. Yeah. He regressed immediately. Lachlan went away for the week. It was just like right back to,
And then what happens when, maybe not in this case, but Lachlan, let's use him as an example, makes a new friend.
Right.
Woo!
Yeah.
Talk about sense of abandonment. What do you mean Lachlan has a new friend? I'm his only friend, because he doesn't have the skills yet maybe to make other friends. So it's our job as parents and our job as teachers to pair and group with more kids so that your child doesn't have that necessarily glue. And the same with you for get-togethers. Even if you hit it off amazing with one parent, you've got to get other parents there in some capacity. And sometimes play dates are hard. It could be meeting at the school grounds after school on the weekends where the child plays. A really great thing is going to the school playgrounds, because that's where they're at during recess. And you may need to have another staff member, IEP perhaps, for preschool, where they're guiding the get-together or the interaction on the playground. Because some children, and this was my Sophie, she sat underneath a slide. She didn't play with other children. So we needed another staff member to gather some kids together, and maybe your child needs to do a scavenger hunt or duck goose if they're little. Maybe the older kid's playing basketball. Teacher says, hey, come on over here, Leo. Come on, Lachlan. Come on, James. Come on, Robert. Let's go play basketball. And the teacher leads it. Don't wait, facilitate. Your job, don't wait, facilitate. The teacher's job, don't wait, facilitate. We can't wait for our children to say, hey, I need new buddies. Rotate one out. Rotate one in. Make sure you ask me questions that are choice-based, but I need visuals, because for me, when I get nervous, seeing it helps me. Please do that. They're not going to do it, and they're not even going to write a note about it. Although, when I have children that are older, I say to them in therapy, if you could say anything to your teacher, what would you want them to know? Or friends that are working on adding them to the club. We did this with Leo. How could we tell your friends that we're going to play these games or do these goals? And for children that want the help, especially as they get older, it's wonderful. We're not necessarily sending those notes or sending those emails to the teacher, but it gets it out. And some children draw pictures to help themselves express how they're feeling with their friends. And it's amazing what you can learn from your children's drawings. It's amazing.